Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and today I come to you with a crisis. As many of you know, I work at a charity shop, and as I work at a charity shop, I get to see many donations coming in. And over the last month or so, I seem to have ended up binging on book buying at the shop. However, I have now reached the point that I've forgotten what I've bought. I don't actually know whether I want to read any of these books. It's just that I've seen them. They've seemed a bit interesting to me. I have now filled an entire bag with books that I have forgotten. Therefore, I come to you. I'm going to go through this bag and see just what I've put in here. Your job is to tell me which books you think I should keep and which books you would say, Charlie, don't give that the time of day. The first books in here are all Peter James books because Dane over at Dane Reads has been reading those books, and so I've just been grabbing them as they come into the shop. However, I want to read them in order, so I'm going to be hanging on to these for a while. Lastly, we have Dead If You Don't, Dead Man's Grip, Love You Dead, and you're currently sat on copies of Need You Dead and Want You Dead. We have a book that I've DNF'd, donated and then repurchased, and that is Milkman by Anna Burns, because despite DNFing it, there's something in me that called back and said, no, you need to read that. So I've put my bookmark back in. Next, I have a copy of Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell, and I do actually want to keep this book, simply because I have been holding on to my friend's copy of this book since 2011, and I think it's only right that I give her copy back to her. Next, I got another David Mitchell book, and that is Number 9 Dream. I think I saw Matthew over at MCS Books talking about this book, therefore I decided to purchase it. I was also saving it out of a rag bag because this copy is a bit battered, and so it was going to go to be pulped. I also picked up Slade House, also by David Mitchell. This was actually the first David Mitchell that I bought and was in much better condition before I put it in this bag. This was a cover buy, but also because I really do want to get around to reading this author. So far we've been through books that I want to keep. Next we have The Tidal Zone by Sara Moss. This is in here because so many people on BookTube recommended this years ago. I took it out of the library and never got around to reading it. So do let me know if you've read it, what you think, because this is definitely a maybe. Okay, now we're going to plunge properly into the bag and see what's in there, because I have absolutely no idea. If it wasn't on top of the bag, I've forgotten what's in here. So, the first book I've picked out is Half of a Human Race by Anthony Quinn, and I got this simply because I've enjoyed the other works of Anthony Quinn that I have read. We have a water-damaged version of Unhaul by Hilary Mantel, and, you know, it won the Booker. Tudors, that Cromwell dude, and we have its sequel, Bring Up the Bodies. Basically, I saw that this third book, whatever it's called, had been announced, and I thought you best get these before somebody else picks them up. Okay, then we have H is for Hawk by Helen McDonald, and this was a cover buy because I thought it looked particularly nice. Then we have Beowulf by Seamus Heaney. Then we have The Road to Nab End by William Woodruff, and I have no idea what this book is about, but it seemed to be a memoir, and it says about a northern childhood, and I'm from the north, so I suppose I probably had some sort of sentimental wanting to read it. Then we have The Little Red Chairs by Edna O'Brien, and I think I got this simply because Joy said as she was enjoying one of Edna O'Brien's previous work. Okay, so this one was The Amber Shadows by Lucy Ribchester, and basically it talked about Bletchley Park. And basically, because I like the story behind Bletchley Park, I wanted to read this one. However, I had quite forgotten that it was in this bag. Then we have The Wisdom of Sally Redshoes. If you remember Dave over at Wild Reads, if he's still out there somewhere in the ether, then he recommended this book years ago. He also recommended Ruth Hogan's earlier book, The Keeper of Lost Things, which is somewhere, there is a review of it somewhere, I'll link it if I can find it. But yeah, I like that book, so I thought I'd get this one. Then we have Things Can Only Get Worse by John O'Farrell, and 20 confusing years in the life of a Labour supporter. I don't know, you know, there was a lot of stuff going on in politics, and I thought, let's read some more about politics, but I didn't even know this was still in here. Then we have Dangerous Days in Elizabethan England by Terry Deary. And basically, because I like the horrible histories as a child, I wanted to read this. Then we have Gossip from the Forest by Sara Maitland. I planned to read this years ago, and then I never read... Ooh! Someone was using something as a bookmark. I love it when that happens. Okay, so don't zoom in on that because this has a load of addresses on it, but this is from Doncaster Chem Dry, who are carpet and upholstery cleaners, and I currently have the names and addresses of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people from all over England. And if that doesn't break data protection law, I don't know what does. Let's probably get rid of that. But that was probably more interesting than I was in this book. Then we have The Strings of Murder by Oscar de Muriel. Then we have The Ice Princess by Camilla Lackberg. And I think I got this because I was thinking I'd be done with Joe Nesbo and Harry Hole. But I haven't read any of those this month because, you know, I'm getting fed up of them. So this is the start of another series. Unweaving the Rainbow by Richard Dawkins. This is all Dane over at Dane Reads' fault because he reads such an eclectic amount of books and variety, and he's mentioned Richard Dawkins before. Then we have The Hanged Man by P.N. Elrod, and this is a female psychic detective in the 1800s, maybe? I don't know. And then we have When All Is Said by Anne Griffin, and I believe that Will over at the Bald Book Geek mentioned this recently. This copy is battered to heck, it's torn, but it's secondhand. I also got The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert because I think that this was popular last year and I had it included on a list of books to read, and then I think I saw a bad review of it, so I decided not to read it. Then I have Sandman, Preludes and Nocturnes, because I wanted to read this graphic novel series for years, but never been able to afford it, and then the first one came into the shop. The Wolves in the Walls and Mr. Punch by Neil Gaiman, because I've never heard of them before, and I particularly like the works of Neil Gaiman. Then I got Problem at Palença Bay by Agatha Christie, and I think that this is a short story collection, but I am not sure. Yes, a short story collection. And I've probably read some of these before, I don't know. Then I got The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton, because I've said for years I should read Kate Morton, and this happens to have the title of a Doctor Who fanfiction story I wrote years ago and may still be available on the internet, and if it is, then I will leave a link to it somewhere. And then I got The Curious Case of the Clockwork Man by Mark Hodder, and I know nothing about it, but it looked like steampunk, and I like the idea of steampunk, though I've never read it. There we go. Finally. Tons of books there. I don't like hauling books. Especially not this many books. I didn't know there were this many in the bag. I'm never going to read them all. I'm just going to get fed up by about August and throw everything I own away. Ugh. But yes, let me know what I should keep, what I should get rid of, if I should keep them all. I'm probably going to end up keeping them all. And if I should prioritise some of these books, let me know what I should prioritise and all that fun stuff, all that jazz. And I hope that you're able to help me and that you got something out of this video. Maybe you even enjoyed it. And until next time, that is all.